Kit, Mr. Chair.
Representative
Yes,
Belmonte.
yes,
Representative
Representative.
Kimbo is also present.
Yes, our good friend Representative Kit Belmonte of Quezon City. You have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good morning po sa lahat, sa my colleagues in the House and ating mga resource persons. I have the honor of sponsoring House Bill number 8514, co-authored by the representative from Marikina, Congresswoman Stella Kimbo, and this representation, Mr. Chair. Simple lang po yung bill. We would like to amend the UP Charter by adding section 11 to it, institutionalizing yung na-abrogate na UP-DND Accord recently, Mr. Chair. In the interest of time, Mr. Chair, and dahil madami rin pong magsasalita about this matter, I would just like to introduce our explanatory note as the sponsorship speech for said bill, Mr. Chair, and urge the committee to act on this bill as soon as possible. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Representative Kit Belmonte. We would like also to hear Representative Stella Kimbo.
Sorry, she was here a while ago, but I think she lost her connection.
Okay, now let's call on the proponents of House Bill 8545, starting from Congresswoman Franz Castro. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So yung House Bill po namin, 8545, authored by Representative Elago, Representative Brosas, Representative Sarate, Representative Gaite, and Representative Pulyamat. Okay? So, Mr. Chair, the 1987 Philippine Constitution po may provision po doon sa academic freedom and shall be enjoyed in all institutions of higher learning. At may mga jurisprudence na nagsasabing institutional academic freedom includes the right of the school or college to decide for itself its aims and objectives and how best to attain them, free from outside coercion or interference. So, Mr. Chair, sa ganitong bagay, kinikilala yung academic freedom sa pagtataguyod ng truth-seeking at critical thinking bilang integral na bahagi ng demokrasya at pambansang pag-unlad. So, dahil dito, Mr. Chair, pumapasok sa mga agreements ang HEI sa Philippine government via DND upang irregularisa ang presensya ng mga pulis at militar sa loob ng campus habang pinangahawakan ng academic freedom o kalayaan sa pag-iisip, pagsasalita at paggalaw at kahit sa critical dissent. Kaya po Mr. Chair, ang panukalang batas po na ito, yung 8545 ay gusto po nating ma-institutionalize yung accord na nag-aano po no na nagbabawal o nagre-regulate ng pagpasok po ng mga security forces sa UP at sa iba pa pong mga universidad. Thank you po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman Franz. Would you like to ask our other congressmen, women of who are present now to also make their manifestation as far as House Bill 8545? Si Congresswoman Arlene Brosas, I saw her earlier.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I will not miss you here, you know.
Hindi mo makakalimutan Mr. Chair.
Hindi ko makakalimutan.
Oo, magandang hapon. Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga sa ating mga resource persons. Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng ating mga colleagues na narito. Isang magandang araw po ng ating pagbabalik sa sesyon sa Kongreso. Now, this representation from Gabriela Women's Party fully supports the upholding and institutionalizing of the UP-DND Accord into the UP Charter. These bills will codify and guarantee that the premises of all UP campuses will be free from military and police presence and influence. It prevents unwarranted search, harassment, and arrests towards members of the university and guarantees our right to a safe campus. Additionally, the unilateral termination of the UP-DND Accord last February stifles dissent and free speech in the university, especially as UP has been a haven of peace for democratic protests even before and during the past lockdown, controlling every democratic space and arena possible with baseless and conjured grounds using the twisted pretext of Fed tagging is an attack not only to the UP students, no, but to all. It has given a safe space to sa mga guro, mga manunulat, mga manininda, mga tsuper, mga maralita, mga manggagawa, mga matagal ng opisyal at empleyado ng gobyerno, mga katutubo at mismong mga residente sa komunidad sa paligid ng universidad. Karapatan ng kahit sino ang maging ligtas at malayang makapagpahayag, makapag-isip, makapagsalita, magbitbit ng paniniwala at pagtitiwala at kumilos ayon dito, lalong-lalo na sa sarili niyang bakuran. Ano pang punto ng pagpasok sa ganitong higher educational institutions kung ayaw naman natin na maging maalam, mapagmatsyag at kritikal ang ating mga estudyante? Academic freedom is the rationale of education, and it cannot thrive under state, police, and military intervention. The state cannot say that they promote democracy while they push for the control and monopolization of ideas. Yun po, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Kaya yun lang po yung dagdag ko kaugnay sa House Bill na sinusulong namin. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for hearing this important measure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Congresswoman Bordado. But before you state your manifestation, I would like to recognize Congresswoman Sara Ilago of the Kabataan Party List. So yes, Congressman Bordado, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I studied at the University of the Philippines, both in Los Baños and in Diliman for almost 7 years. I was in Los Baños and in Diliman during the height of the so-called student activism in the 1970s. I went back to Los Baños to finish my master's degree in 2011. So I can therefore say, Mr. Chairman, with certainty that the termination of the DND UP Accord is quite dangerous. And as pointed out by UP President Danilo Concepcion himself, totally unnecessary. I am therefore fully supporting the institutionalization of the UP-DND Accord by amending the UP Charter. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much,
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Bordado. May I ask Congresswoman Sara Ilago to make her manifestation also as far as House Bill 8545 as one of the co-authors of this particular bill. You are now recognized, Congresswoman Ilago.
Maraming salamat, Ginoong Chair. Isang mainit na pagbati sa mga kagalang-galang na miyembro ng lupon ng mga kinatawan, sa lahat ng mga panauhing tagapagsalita at sa lahat ng mga nakilahok sa pagpupulong na ito ng komite. Ang Universidad ng Pilipinas ay gumawa na ng marka sa kasaysayan dahil sa mga hindi matatawarang ambag nito sa agham, ekonomiya, serbisyong pangkalusugan, sining, kultura at marami pang iba't ibang larangan. Ang UP community ay kinikilala rin sa papel nito sa pakikipagkaisa sa mas malawak na hanay ng sambayan ng Pilipino upang higit na palakasin ang pagbabantay sa kapangyarihan, paglaban sa diktadurya at iba't iba pang forma ng abuso at injustisya. Isa ang 1989 UP-DND Accord sa mga makasaysayang tagumpay ng mga iskolar ng bayan na sinuportahan ng iba't ibang sektor sa akademya. Napagkasunduan ito ilang araw matapos ang malakas na panawagan laban sa naging pagdukot at torture ng covert military operatives kay Donato Continente na isang staff ng Philippine Collegian, ang opisyal na pahayagan ng mga estudyante sa UP Diliman. Sinundan ito ng UP-DILG Accord noong 1992. Bago ang mga nasabing accord, nagkaroon na ng mga naunang kasunduan sa pagitan ng League of Filipino Students at ng Ministry of Defense upang tiyakin ang safeguards hinggil sa police at military presence sa mga eskwelahan na tinawag na Soto and Dili Accord noong 1981. Bunga ang mga ito ng walang patid na mga pagsisikap at paggigiit na ang mga campus ay walang lugar para sa pagpapatahimik, panggigipit at paglabag sa mga karapatan at kalayaang pang-akademiko. Sa gitna ng pandemya, naksirin ang buong bayan kung paanong naging ligtas na espasyong universidad upang maiparating ang mga karaingan ng mamamayan tulad ng pagpapatupad ng mass testing, pagkakaroon ng epektibong COVID-19 response at tuloy-tuloy na ayuda, gayon din ang suporta sa trabaho at kabuhayan. Pati na ang mga protesta laban sa anti-terror law, panghimasok ng China sa West Philippine Sea at sunod-sunod na mga pamamaslang ng mga human rights defenders at pagkulong sa mga trade union at community organizers. Tumitindi rin ang kinakaharap ng mga pananakot, paninira, red tagging at iba pang banta sa buhay at seguridad ng mga kritikal na mga estudyante, guro, maging mga opisyal ng universidad. Kaya naman, lubos ang pagkadismaya at pagtutol ng mga scholar ng bayan at kabataan na bigla na lamang makaisang panig na putulin ng DND ang accord. Ng mga panukalang dinidinig natin ngayong umaga kasama ng iba pang mga bills at resolutions para protektahan ang mga batayang kalayaan sa campus at ang kalayaang akademiko, masalamin lamang sa mas pinahigpit na pagkakaisa upang tumindig para pagtibayin ang UP-DND Accord. Ang House Bill No. 8545 ay naninindigan para sa paglalagay sa UP Charter ng mga sumusunod na mayor na punto ng kasunduan sa UP-DND Accord. Kailangan ng prior notification o paunang pagbibigay alam sa mga opisyal para sa pagpasok ng unit ng kapulisan at militar sa lahat ng UP campus. Pinagbabawal rin ang interference o pagpigil sa mga mapayapang kilos protesta. Mahigpit na ipinagbabawal ang pagpasok ng law enforcement agencies maliban na lamang sa mga kaso ng hot pursuit sa parehong okasyon ng emergency na kailangan para sa pagmimintina ng seguridad. Kailangang iulat rin ng mga law enforcement agencies ang lahat ng mga pag-aresto, detensyon at pagsisiyasat sa mga estudyante, faculty, kawani at mga opisyal ng UP. Kasama sa mga ito ang pagkakaroon ng mga dagdag safeguards para sa paghapag ng search o arrest warrant. Gayon din ang pagpapataw ng karampatang parusa para sa mga lumabag sa mga ito. Hindi po totoong ang pagpapalakas sa UP-DND Accord ay magpapahina ng pagpapatupad ng mga hakbang pangkapayapaan at seguridad. Palalakasin pa ng panukalang batas na ito ang paggampan ng Estado sa obligasyong protektahan at tiyakin ang kalayaang akademiko at demokratikong karapatan sa pamantasan upang hindi na maulit ang mga abuso sa nakaraan, matiyak ang pananagutan at nang hindi na magpatuloy pa ang mga nararanasang atake sa kasalukuyan. In order for education institutions to fulfill their significant role in upholding human rights and democracy, they must be protected from undue interference, pressures, and dictates from those in power. It is for this very reason that we stand with the UP community in upholding the UP-DND Accord and defending academic freedom. UP is not a haven for, quote-unquote, the enemies of the state, as falsely claimed by the security sector. Rather, it is an educational institution that serves as a bastion of academic freedom and critical thinking. Hangad ng mga scholar ng bayan at kabataan ang mag-aral, matuto, magsuri, maniliksik, magsulat at magsalita na malaya laban sa takot at terror, at malaya na makapaglingkod para sa katotohanan, katarungan, kapayapaan at kaunlaran ng bayan. Kaya, Ginoong Chair, sa mga miyembro ng Committee on Higher and Technical Education, atin ang ipasa ang House Bill No. 8545 at ang mga kaparehong measures para tumindig para sa UP-DND Accord. Maraming salamat po at isang makabayan na pagbati muli sa lahat. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, Binibining Sara Ilago. At this point,
Chairman.
we have another bill, yung 8514. I would like somebody to sponsor this bill, considering that Brother Eddie is not present. May I ask 8437, can we ask one of the members to sponsor House Bill 8437? Yes, Congressman Kit Belmonte.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Considering that unavailable po sina Brother Eddie, but we've seen the contents of the bill and they are substantially, if not almost exactly the same as most of the bills already submitted, I move that his explanatory note be introduced as his sponsorship speech for said bill, Mr. Chair. Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Hearing no objection on the motion is carried. Yes, we will now call, you are still raising your hand. Yes, Representative Kit, yeah?
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. Just a point of inquiry, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
There are actually two similar bills likewise filed, although they are not related directly with UP because they pertain to all state universities and colleges. And my bill and the bill of Honorable Deputy Speaker Rufus Rodriguez, which refers to all universities and colleges, but they all pertain to the same matter, which is basically academic freedom, Mr. Chair. I understand na hindi sila dapat i-tackle at the same time with the UP bill, but may I just inquire kung kailan po pwedeng masalang itong dalawang bill na to because they are related somewhat to the subject matter at hand, Mr. Chair.
We will schedule these two bills, Congressman Kit, in our probably not in our next meeting because we have another items already in the agenda for the next meeting. But definitely we will include them in our probably after our next meeting. We will include in the agenda of these two bills because this covers all the state universities and colleges. This one is particularly concerned only with the proposed amendment on the charter of the University of the Philippines.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted that on the record, Mr. Chair, kasi related po sila. Thank you po.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Congressman Rupos.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman, for considering the other two bills, which will now pertain to all state universities and colleges. But at this point, let me just express my very briefly my strong support for these pending bills in the committee now. And the UP system, the UP campus, it is the bastion of academic freedom. It is the national university. And therefore, there has to be protocols to be done. The DND Accord should now be instituted into a law in the charter of the UP. And that is why, the statements about UP being hotbeds of radicalism or hotbeds of communism, Mr. Chairman, in a university, all ideas can come and can be discussed. And all kinds of demonstration and protest should be undertaken. That is what should be given to our students and faculty members of UP. So there can be no frustration, no prohibition against that because we are the national university. And therefore, Mr. Chairman, I join and I also wish that I will be a co-author of these two bills pending because it is high time that we institutionalize our academic freedom clearly beyond the intervention of military and police officials in our UP campus and UP system. So, Mr. Chairman, in the proper time, I will move that I will become a co-author of these two worthy bills that necessitates, because of the abrogation, the immediate approval of this bill. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Congressman Rupos. I can see the passion and the energy you express through the words that you have stated, expressing support to this three separate bills on the same subject. So may we now ask the President? Yes, Congressman Greg Gasataya.
Yeah,
I would like to, yes, you are now recognized.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chair. No? Magandang umaga sa lahat, Mr. Chair. I'll just make a very brief manifestation that this representation filed a resolution, Resolution 1498, imploring the DND to uphold the UP-DND Accord in 1989, Honorable Chair. This representation is a product of the UP system. In the time that the UP-DND Accord was implemented, I was a second-year student at UP Diliman. So I just like to manifest, Honorable Chair, my full support to the proposed bills institutionalizing this activity, wherein we'll be able to protect the academic freedom, Honorable Chair. This representation took up political science, Honorable Chair, and I can say that I am not part nor has become a member of whatever group that is being tagged to most UP students, Honorable Chair. So I'd like to manifest my support, and later on I'd be also willing to co-author bills institutionalizing the academic freedom, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Congressman Greg, for that manifestation. I think we take note of your point and the desire to be a co-author of this particular substitute bill if we will come out with the substitute bill. May we now call the President of the University of the Philippines for the position of the UP. President Danicon, I would like to recognize you at this point.
Maraming salamat po, Congressman Chairman Go. The University of the Philippines and the UP community strongly support the proposed law embodied in 3 bills, separate bills, seeking to incorporate into the UP Charter the principles of academic freedom embodied in the UP-DND and the UP-DILG Accords. To us, those accords are not just agreements between UP and the government. Those accords are the government's formal declaration that the government guarantees the enjoyment by UP of its academic freedom. In those accords, the government declared its recognition that all the commitments the government made formally in those accords are essential for UP's academic freedom. Hindi lamang po ito isang agreement. Ito po ay deklarasyon ng ating gobyerno na yung pong mga commitments nila doon ay essential ingredients para po matama ng UP ang academic freedom. Because without academic freedom, UP's existence becomes meaningless. Making those commitments by the DND and the PNB into law as part of the UP Charter is a development in the right direction. Salamat po, Chairman Go.
Maraming po salamat, Pangulong Concepcion. Gusto ko rin pong marinig ang presidente ng UP Student Council, UP Diliman Student Council, si Chairperson Froilan Cariaga. Nandiyan po ba siya? Kanina po nag-manifest.
Yes po.
Sige, you are now recognized. Yeah.
Hello
Yes,
po.
please continue. Yeah.
Okay po, thank you po. The UP-DUSC supports the institutionalization of the UP-DND Accord via amending RA 9500 for this purpose only. UP Diliman has been victim to AFP-PNP's continuing violations of the accord. AFP-PNP says their note on permitted on-campus activities is for what they claim to be a high crime rate and a hypothetical drug situation, whereas Barangay UP Campus has a low crime rate even without PNP intervention. Moreover, the QCPD Station 9 pressured the Barangay UP Campus to release 1. A resolution declaring CPP-NPA as persona non grata, 2. An executive order instituting a barangay task force LTRAC, and 3. A manifesto supporting Duterte's draconian anti-terror law through 6 visits and several calls aimed at fast-tracking the release of said documents. PNP said that this was ordered by DILG, but the LGU found that there exists no DILG memo requiring the PNP's proposed documents. Violations of the accord are not without victims. Just last February, students and community members suffered from QCPD Station 10 harassment via shouting, blaring of sirens, and forcibly bringing them to a barangay hall which doesn't even cover UP Diliman for participating in a mural painting in Port Arboretum, which was sanctioned by the LGU and the school administration. The scholars ng bayan do not feel safe with unimpeded AFP PNP entry in campus. I personally have been the victim of red tagging, death threats, and I was also implicitly threatened that I would be made a desaparecido by the MPD Station 14 commander who tried to illegally arrest me during a legitimate expression and exercise of my right to free speech. Moreover, in other UP campuses such as in UP Los Baños, student leaders and community members were found red-tagged in multiple Facebook posts following the Bloody Sunday incident where many progressive leaders were brutally killed by unknown forces. And in UP Barrio, student leaders and legitimate student organizations also suffered from red tagging and attempts of the PNP to declare these legitimate and recognized UP organizations as persona non grata in Baguio. Additionally, in UP Cebu, there was an incident where state forces explicitly entered the campus in order to arrest students participating in legitimate acts of protest and expressions of their dissent. And additionally, there was also a UP Manila student who became the victim of arrest in Zambales 11 in the recent May protests. For the CHTE, we expound that innovation is impossible without critical thought. And what is education for if not the development of man and society? The UP-DUSC urges the CHTE to defend the safe spaces in which the Pag-asa ng Bayan hones and prepares itself to serve the people, to serve the country. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak. And in order to fully represent the whole stance of the UP system, may I ask Mr. Chair to also hear the sentiments and thoughts of the UP student region. Thank you very much po.
Thank you very much, President Cariaga. I would like now to call on Attorney Norman Daanoy of the Department of National Defense, Legal and Legislative Affairs. Attorney Norman, you are now recognized.
Magandang tanghali, Mr. Chair. Nice seeing you again. You look so good,
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairperson and members of the Honorable Committee, magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat. First of all, I would like to manifest that we support academic freedom without any further conditions whatsoever. Mr. Chair, the Department of National Defense and the University of the Philippines agreement concerns the conduct of law enforcement operations, military and police, inside the UP campus. We respect academic freedom. We establish certain norms and protocols governing the relations in the conduct of military operations between the university and the military and the police before. Mr. Chair, just a short background. The DND UP agreement was signed on June 30, 1989. During this time, there was no Philippine National Police. The principal law enforcer during this time is the Philippine Constabulary and the Integrated National Police, or we call it PCINP. The PCINP, Mr. Chair, is a major service command of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. That was in 1989. The second agreement we have also, Mr. Chair, is DND, National Police Commission, and Polytechnic University of the Philippines Memorandum of Agreement. This was signed in August 21, 1990. Again, the principal law enforcer during this time is still the PCINP. On the other hand, the National Police Commission is an attached agency to the Department of National Defense pursuant to the Administrative Code of 1987. The third agreement, Mr. Chair, is we have the Department of Interior and Local Government, University of the Philippines Agreement, which was signed on December 2, 1992. This time, Mr. Chair, the law enforcer during this time is the newly created Philippine National Police under the reorganized Department of Interior and Local Government, pursuant to Republic Act 6975, as amended by RA 8551. Mr. Chair, the DND UP, DND PUP, and DILG UP agreements are substantially identical or similar in terms and conditions, having the same objectives and purposes. The obligations agreed by the parties in these agreements are as follows. It requires prior notice shall be given by military or police in law enforcement operations to the school premises. There's a prior notice before you conduct law enforcement. Law enforcers are required to seek assistance from school authorities in the enforcement of law within the school premises. School authorities have discretion to seek assistance from law enforcement activities within the school premises. Kung ayaw nila, di wala tayong magawa. Law enforcers shall not interfere with protest actions within the premises. Prior notice to school authorities shall be given by law enforcers in the service of search or arrest warrants. No warrant shall be served unless in the presence of school authorities. Prior notice also required for custodial investigation. Mr. Chair, in several fora or media interviews regarding these testimonies of CPP, NPA, rebel, surrenderies, and returnees, these agreements, Mr. Chair, are being used as propaganda to confuse or prohibit law enforcers in conducting law enforcement operations in the campuses of these universities nationwide for almost 30 years, Mr. Chair. Being the norms and protocols observed in law enforcement operations within the premises of these universities, several students have been recruited and indoctrinated by front organizations to become CPP-NPA. As per DND and military records, several students who were killed and captured as CPP-NPA came from UP Diliman, UP Manila, UP Los Baños, UP Extension Program also covered in Pampanga, UP Mindanao, UP Baguio, UP Cebu, and UP Tacloban, and also PUP Santa Mesa. These are captured and killed students, Mr. Chair. The evidence of death and captured students of UP and PUP who are members of CPP-NPA cannot be denied, Mr. Chair. This is a senseless death of the students from UP and PUP who were radicalized to join the CPP armed wing, the NPA, through this massive recruitment inside these universities must be stopped. These agreements had provided another layer or another step for law enforcement. And as I have said before, being used as a shield of the recruitment activities of CPP-NPA front organizations. The primordial goal of the Department of National Defense termination, abrogation of the TND-UP agreement is to protect the youth and to minimize, if not end, this massive recruitment of UP and PUP students for membership in a terrorist organization. Thus, the termination and abrogation of the agreement is the best option in order to protect the students, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, there was a meeting between the president of UP and the chairperson of the Commission on Higher Education regarding this matter. And during the discussion, there's a proposal on the feasibility of a revised, of a redefined agreement. However, Mr. Chair, the Department of National Defense is firm in its position that the termination of or abrogation of the agreement cannot be reconsidered for the reason that the Department of National Defense and the Armed Forces of the Philippines are no longer involved in law enforcement or police operations. There exists a DILG and UP agreement on this matter. I think UP and DILG and the PNP to discuss on this matter on how to implement the DILG UP agreement. Mr. Chair, during the March 2021 Security, Justice and Peace Cabinet Cluster meeting, there is a proposal for the issuance of a special rules on the conduct of law enforcement operations in school premises. Not necessarily a law to be passed on this. However, this is no longer the mandate of the Department of National Defense and the Armed Forces of the Philippines, but within the legal mandate responsibility of DILG PNP. With this present organizational and operational mandate for law enforcement, the Department of National Defense recommended to the cluster meeting for the issuance of special rules in the conduct of law enforcement in school premises, rather or instead of deliberating this kind of clash legislation bill, which only referring to University of the Philippines. Mr. Chair, we support, as I have said, academic freedom. However, we would like to manifest before this honorable committee that the decision of the department to abrogate or terminate is already final due to the existing organizational and mandate of the Department of National Defense. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Attorney Norman Daanoy of the
Mr. Chair?
Department of National Defense. Before we ask Congressman Kit, I would like to also present the president of the UP Student Regent, our fellow UP Student Regent, Rene Koch.
Thank you po, Honorable Marco, and Honorable Chair po sa inyong pag-recognize sa akin. Saglit lang po. Thank you po doon sa pag-recognize. Meron lang po akong manifestation showing po yung wide unity ng UP community sa kanilang pagtingin po sa bills na nakasalang po dito sa pag-institutionalize po ng provisions ng UP-DND Accord and yung kanilang wide condemnation and yung pag-raise ng concern po sa unilateral abrogation. And then later po, I would please allow me to provide some responses po doon sa naging speech po ng DND po. The UP-DND Accord is important for many reasons. It is part of our history as a testament to the victory of the UP community in its struggle for safe spaces and democratic rights. And it has allowed UP to serve as a sanctuary for sectors clamoring for rights, but yet they are unheard or repressed. and the termination of the UP-DND Accord disregards this history and threatens the safety of the UP community and the many sectors that depend on UP. But most importantly, the UP-DND Accord, in ensuring that there is a documented and transparent process security forces must follow before entry, search, or arrest, the UP-DND Accord protects academic freedom. How does it do so? Academic freedom basically provides the great liberty students and faculty and the community to study, to research, to learn. UP and the different campuses that are involved in this are able to conduct different ways by which it can explore many policies. It can explore the state of affairs of the society now. It can explore any other things that is relevant to how we're able to build a better society in the future. That is why if this kind of freedom is narrowed, if it is a bit tailored, we are not going to be able to respond to the best of the ability that we can have. In UP, in the National University, and in other academic institutions, they're tasked to provide education and produce students geared to serve the people and the nation in various fields and through different means. Here we produce bodies of knowledge we can use to better the life of the many Filipinos. We study science and society, create music and art, apply the many theories, and produce models to make it reality. It also served as a way by which many sectors are able to provide their experiences, provide their issues, and we can all resolve it together. This is done through Lakbayan, which is supported by our UP President Danilo Concepcion, the different chancellors of our units, the deans, and entire colleges, wherein they're able to facilitate learning of the Lumad. They're able to facilitate farmers, fishermen, workers to integrate with UP students and the community. In this way, we're able to give platforms to the marginalized and the different sectors to ensure that their voices are heard. However, UP, in the course of exchanging ideas and expanding knowledge, is being accused as a breeding ground for terrorists. In this quest to do so, some government bodies and agencies brand all discussion of subversive ideas as recruitment and expression of dissent as inciting to violence and terrorism. There are many different threats that the UP community perceived in the past few years. Red tagging, wherein members of the community, constituents are being accused to be members of CPP and PA just for the mere expression of thought, and activities of organizations were conducted. This was seen in the many posters, in walls, in posts, and we see this online. There are even death threats that were sent to members of faculty and to students through texts, through chats, and even as personal messages to their own addresses. There has been harassment, physical and verbal. There have been reports that they were being surveillanced, and there has also been detention. This is why we need to legislate and institutionalize the UP-DND Accord, not only in ensuring that the existing agreements are maintained or restored, but even find different ways to ensure that these same provisions, these same protections are also provided, are also given in the many avenues available. This extreme view has led to deaths before, and the UP community understands this danger. That is why the entire UP community, students, faculty, staff, administrators, alumni, and other members is strongly and deeply united in our collective stance. We have seen this in the response to the abrogation. There have been many statements issued. They have been issued by our UP President himself, the 8 chancellors of all autonomous units, deans, department heads. We also have our allies in Congress, in the Senate, in local government units. We also have student organizations, teachers themselves, the unions, and even alumni and our professor emeriti. All of these different actors that make up the Philippines have had a unilateral and a unanimous response to the abrogation. and a stand that we protect UP, we protect the principle of academic freedom by ensuring that there are institutional protections legislated into law, and the agreement
Regent Ko, can you wrap up your manifestation, please? We still have 2 more bills that we need to discuss if you can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Let me just wrap up by hoping that this committee tasked with this takes up the initiative to protect education. Legislation to protect academic freedom and the intrusion of police and military campuses should not include only UP, but also all schools and educational institutions. So we support the bills authored here, and to ensure that UP and other universities will never also suffer the different terrors, the different fears they have just for expressing. May I just have some few minutes, perhaps, to respond to the speech earlier?
Considering that you have spoken for more than 10 minutes already, I think we still have comments from the other resource persons on the same subject. If I may, if you will just finish it in 30 seconds, kasi ano na, it's already 12:09 and we are supposed to end at 12 o'clock. But I'll give you another 30 seconds to wrap up your comment, Regent Ko.
Thank you, Chair. That was actually the first time we heard the following argument for the abrogation. As the last time, it was simply clandestine, not even massive, but clandestine recruitment. But regarding the argument that DND is no longer the primary law enforcers, we see that there is no reason that could be a barrier why the UP-DND Accord cannot be maintained, or even that these following can also be applicable to DND, NDILG, and other state forces as well.
Okay, so
that's it.
Is that okay already? Thank you. Thank you very much, Regent Ko. Last on these bills, I would like to hear the chair of the Commission on Higher Education, Chairman Popoy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am the one mediating between the UP President and the Secretary of National Defense on the abrogation of the UP-DND Accord. So in deference to my role as mediator, I will not comment on the issues of academic freedom or red tagging, or even the legal issues that have been raised regarding warrants of arrest. I think this is better left to the DND to expound, as our DND representative has expounded, and also to our legal luminaries to talk about it. But I have been quoted in the media when the abrogation was announced. And I said the UP-DND Accord is destined to be problematic. And I stand by that statement today. And the contents of the bill have not resolved the issues that I have raised when the accord was abrogated. Number one, when you want to institutionalize the accord on the UP campus, I raised the question then on what is the UP campus that is being referred to. Is it the UP campus consisting of 493 hectares in UP Diliman? Or is it the academic core of UP bounded by Katipunan, CP Garcia, and Commonwealth Avenue? This is not clarified in the bills, and this is a major problem in terms of identifying the issues related to this accord. The 493 hectares includes the 25 hectares of Cruz de Ligas, all the way to the Arboretum, all the way to the police, the police facility, the PNP facility in Station 9. These are all parts of quote-unquote UP campus. I raise that, Mr. Chair, because there are references in the previous statements about not feeling safe because of the abrogation of the accord. I have to tell you very frankly, Mr. Chair, that I have been a resident of UP campus since 2004. having lived in Jardín ng Rosas in 2004, and currently a resident of 58A Roses Avenue. I have to tell the committee very frankly that I do not feel safe inside the UP campus. And I have manifested this in the Board of Regents of UP several times. So if our students feel that they are unsafe because of the abrogation of the accord, I say that I feel unsafe with or without the accord, because the basic law and order inside the UP campus to me has been problematic. I do not feel safe because as this committee discusses this matter, just several days ago on May 8th, between 2 to 4 a.m., my residence in 58A Roses was burglarized. It has been burglarized repeatedly for the past 3 years already. I say this very frankly, and I hope that our legislators who are pushing for this accord would stay and live inside UP so they will experience for themselves the current law and order situation inside UP. The burglars who broke into my house were apprehended 2 days later, but the procedure showed the basic problem with law and order inside the campus. It took the UP police and the auxiliary force 2 days to figure out who are the robbers, because there is no CCTV in the streets inside UP in the residential area. I live on the street where the current UP chancellor also has his house. There is no CCTV there. It took them 2 days because they had to get private homeowners to share their CCTV. There are no regular patrols happening. The UP police consists of 23 policemen patrolling a very big area. In the procedure of the arrest until the filing of complaint, I realized that the problem is because the UP police did not even report the theft in my property to Station 9. It had to take my daughter to go to Station 9 to report it. In short, the UP police does not work in consonance with PNP in the arrest of the suspects, in the filing of the complaint, etc. These procedural problems is really because over time, the mechanisms of this accord have not really been put in writing. As I said previously, the technical group between UP and the DND has never been organized, has never met. And this is problematic, Mr. Chair, because if UP authorities will look at the record of UP police, the theft in my property has been repeated over the past 3 years. I have lost a high-end bike. Even the washing machine of my house was taken away. And all of this happened at between 2 and 5 in the morning, where there is supposed to be a curfew and nobody should be going around the campus. So I think, Mr. Chair, I hope that the committee can talk to the actual residents of the UP campus and determine if they feel safe inside the UP campus. Because burglaries have been repeated all over the campus. And the UP police does not have the capability to enforce very good law and order inside. They don't even have a war room with CCTV to patrol and look at all the streets inside the UP campus. I am giving this personal attestation, Mr. Chair, because my grandchildren are staying in that UP property. And the thieves who were arrested are known drug addicts in Puok Dagohoy and are known to carry firearms when they go around stealing from the houses. I shudder at the thought of something happening to my family and my grandkids, Mr. Chair. I hope while we talk about red tagging and academic freedom, we take equally important the lives of people who are staying inside the campus and ensure that law and order is protected. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairman Popoy, for giving us information on what had happened to your presence in UP. And I sympathize with your experience, Mr. Chair Popoy, and I hope we can address this. This is probably an internal police matter that should be addressed by the university with or without the UP-DND accord. I think we need to address this. Okay, any last manifestation or comments on this particular three bills? Congressman Kit, I think you were raising your hand earlier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If the chair allows, if I may be allowed to interpolate, propound a few questions to Attorney Daonoy. And since my good friend, sanay na sa akin si Sir Popoy, if I may also expound a few questions doon sa statements po niya, if I may be allowed, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please limit your questions to 2 or 3 per resource person, if I may suggest, considering the limited time that we have now to finish.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I will keep it as short as possible, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm presuming here that Attorney Daonoy, since you recognize him as your friend and sanay na kayo magkasama, has the authority to represent DND dito sa hearing po natin. Is that correct, Mr. Chair? Tama po. Attorney Daonoy, tama po.
Yes.
Authority kayo ng DND. Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
At tama po yung sinabi ninyo, yung DND Accord ang na-abrogate lang po. The DILG UP Systems Accord is still in place. Tama po ba yan, Mr. Chair, Your Honor?
Yes, Your Honor. DILG, wala kaming pakialam dyan sa DILG.
Tuloy pa rin po, pero yung laman po niyan ay substantially the same po. Tama po ba?
Pareho lang, Mr. Chair. Pareho.
Tama po yan. So out na po yung AFP dito sa usapan na to. Basically. Tama
Yes.
po, Mr. Chair. Kailangan ko lang po malagay on the record. Hindi po, as per AFP, wala akong masama. Ang perception niyo po, hindi na ho kayo kailangan dito kasi may existing accord naman ang UP at saka ang DILG na ito naman ang laman. Correct po.
You're right, Your Honor.
Okay, so in other words, pag nag-institutionalize, pag gumalaw po tong bill po namin, institutionalizing this, substantially hindi naman ho ito nagkakaiba doon sa usapan with DILG and yung mga previous agreements po natin. Tama po ba? Ng
Right.
UP at ng DILG. Yun po ang importante lang po sa akin. In other words, opinion nyo na po to, hindi kayo masyadong apektado. Tama po ba yan, Mr. Chair, Your Honor? Second, just on my second point, Mr. Chair. Sorry, I grew up in Baguio po. I grew up in Baguio, and the chairman, the honorable chairman of this committee was during my younger days was a senior manager of the Texas Instruments. Tama po ba yan, Mr. Chair? Texas Instruments sa Luacan, yung export processing zone dyan. Tama po ba yan, Mr. Chair?
Yes, that's
Tama
correct.
po yan. And you were good friends with my father, who used to be a management in one of the largest mining companies po sa Benguet Mountain Province. Tama po ba yan,
Yes,
Mr. Chair?
tama po yun. Sa Benguet Corporation po. Yung
Yes, Mr. Chair. And the representative from DND, Attorney Danoy, did state na over the years, ang daming mga estudyante ng UP na nahuli, na namatay, na na-radicalize. Tama po ba yan? Dahil sa free space nila po dito sa UP. Tama po ba yan, Attorney Danoy?
Tama ho, sir. Tama yan.
Okay. Pwede ko malaman, Mr. Chair, kung may data po kayo doon sa gaano kadami yung mga nahuli, na-radicalize, napatay ng AFP, galing po sa mga mining camps around Baguio o galing lang po sa export processing zone o even just Texas Instruments doon po sa Luwakan sa Baguio po, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. I am pretty sure without the actual data, you will come up na mas marami pa po mga minero or mga simpleng trabahante sa export processing zone. Doon lang po sa Luwakan, sa compared ang mga na-radicalized or naging NPA compared po sa mga estudyante from UP Baguio. If you have that data, Mr. Chair, I would like to find out, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, can I respond?
Yes, Attorney Danoy.
As a matter of fact, the Secretary of National Defense has announced that in the media about those who were captured and killed during the military operations ng mga estudyante ng UP at saka PUP. And we have such data.
Hindi po yun yung tanong ko po, Mr. Chair. Ang tinatanong ko po is from other places, Mr. Chair. From other, ilang magsasaka in just in La Trinidad Valley, for example, sa Baguio, yung na-radical. What I'm trying to point out here, Mr. Chair, is sinisingle out nila yung UP kasi showbiz ang UP. Oo, showbiz ang UP. Pero if we allow this sa UP, eh, pwede na nilang gawin yan sa Texas Instruments ninyo, Mr. Chair, or sa buong Lawakan Export Processing Zone o lahat ng mining camps throughout the country kasi madaming nararadicalize, lalo na sa Mindanao. Or yung mga lumads, for example, Mr. Chair. Yun ang problema ko with singling out UP. By changing the issue, by focusing on UP, you're actually opening the floodgates for everybody else, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. I'll just leave it at that kasi limited po ang time ko, Attorney Daonoy. Pero I would really like po if you could provide this representation through the committee, yung data nyo po sa mga ganyan. And it's not just Baguio as an example. Saan pa? I'm sure. And I would have liked to ask the student regent or President by Professor Danny Concepcion, gano'ng kadaming estudyante ang aktivista sa UP at one time? And ilan doon yung na-radicalize? I'm pretty sure in a generation, napakaliit nun kumpara sa sangkaterbang estudyante ng UP who want to be activists, Mr. Chair, who think of themselves or consider themselves as activists of whatever persuasion, Mr. Chair. Nung estudyante po ako, siguro professor ko na doon si Attorney De Vera, si Professor De Vera noon, ay nako, ang mas malaganap pa po doon sa amin sa UP ay Hare Krishna. Diba? My classmate in law school, the former regent ng UP, ngayon ay abogado nyo po, vanguard po yan. And yet we work so well together. In law school and outside. So may problema po ako doon. I'll go to Professor Popoy. Sir, alam niyo namang laman din ako ng campus, di ba? Tumira din po ako doon. I understand your position po. Ang question ko lang po, yung CCTVs, alam ko lahat ng barangay nagkakabit na ho ng CCTV. Hindi po natin pwedeng ipagbintang, sa tingin ko po sir, yung pagkawalan ng CCTV sa UP DILG Accord. Kasi pwede namang magkabit ang UP, Barangay Kulyak, which also covers yung binanggit nyo pong part of Arboretum, part of Pael. May CCTVs po yan. Yung pinag-awayan po natin the last time I attempted to adjust the UP Charter, Cruz Naligas. Ang alam ko po, may CCTVs po yan, sir. Di ba po? In fact, sorry sir, ang pagkaalam ko, Section F ng proposed bill po namin actually intends to strengthen din po yung whole internal security, UP security and firefighting capabilities ng institution itself, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. Nandun po yun. Ano pa ba? Yun, sabi nyo, Station 9. Alam nyo po ba, sir, Professor Secretary De Vera, 23 yung police ng UP campus dedicated sa UP campus as you said. Ang alam ko po, sa pagkaalam ko, ang total personnel ng Station 9 that covers all the areas, not just UP campus, but including hanggang Kamyas, part of Kamuning, no, hanggang Kamyas po, Botocan, Cruz Naligas, hanggang sa UP Villages and Basra, parang 150 to 100 personnel lang po yun. I think if maganda po ang relations and coordination po, mas welcome pa po ng mga pulis natin sa Station 9 yung pagpapalakas ng yung security ng UP campus para mabawasan din po sila ng problema sa trabaho. And lastly po, I do agree with Professor De Vera. Thank you for pointing that out. Baka maganda hong ma-define po natin sa bill or at least sa IRR, ano ba yung pinag-uusapan nating area coverage? Hindi mahirap na naman pag-awayan natin ng Cruz Naligas o Arboretum o Pael na sakop nito. Tama naman po yan, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. Pero as with all bills, di ba po pwede nating talakayin ito sa IRR as the way nangyari yung negotiations between the Quezon City government and President Concepcion doon sa pag-implement ng Cruz Naligas po, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I was trying to keep it short, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr.
Thank you very
Chair.
much for the points that you have raised. I think these are highly, I would say, very important questions that you have asked. Si Attorney Daanoy, every time he attends our committee meeting, medyo talagang exciting yung debate rito. Just like when we had this discussion on the ROTC bill. So again, thank you very much, Congressman Kit. I am really from Baguio. Wala naman kaming problema rito actually. So lalo na dun sa export processing zone. But anyway, I think these are good points raised. And really, I think we really need to work out on these three bills. So any other...
Mr. Chair.
We have Chairman Popoy. Yes, after that we'll have Congresswoman Sara. We'll have Chairman Popoy first. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with a lot of the points of my friend Congressman Kit Belmonte. We agree about 90% of the time and disagree about 10% of the time. The point I am raising, Mr. Chair, is we tend to frame this accord in terms only of academic freedom, red tagging, etc. My point is we should frame it from a law and order perspective. Because if it is true that the accord in the past has protected the people inside UP campus, I am saying that as far as many of the residents are concerned, including myself, even with the accord, I do not feel safe in the past and until now. I think I would be very convinced that the accord is the answer if UP had taken steps to really ensure the safety of homeowners. So yung dapat ginawa na yan, I am on record having manifested in the Board of Regents of UP, even under the previous chancellor, on what they are doing to make the homeowners safe. Unfortunately, until now, I do not feel safe and I feel for my grandchildren. So madali akong kumbinsihin kung sana nung merong accord, nagtulungan na ang UP at saka ang PNP, joint training, sharing of resources, sharing of information, so that the residents are better protected, even while the accord is there. I wish that had been done in the past. So it's a little more difficult to convince me now that the accord will help the situation. Because since in the past it has not improved it, what is my guarantee that because the accord will be institutionalized, that things will change? I do not see that in the bill, Mr. Chair. And I agree with Congressman Belmonte. Kung sana napag-usapan na yan tulad ng usapan sa Cruz Naligas dati at naayos na yan, I don't have to tell the committee about my own personal experience. But I asked the committee to talk to the homeowners in UP. There is rampant problems in law and order inside the campus, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I would like to point to
Yes,
my friend.
Congressman Kit, would you like to respond? I would
Thank you,
recommend.
Mr. Chair. I feel for Attorney De Vera. Estudyante ako, first time na nagkaroon ng rape case murder ng estudyante doon sa when I was a dormer sa UP po. I would like to point out to Professor De Vera, to Secretary De Vera, Section 11F of the proposed bill. Actually, ito po yung weakness ng simpleng agreement lang po. Parang yung ginawa po ng DND, unilaterally pwede nilang inabrogate lang po to. By putting this into law, Section 11F, which actually mandates strengthening the UP security system and firefighting and protection and other law enforcement capabilities. Dahil hindi naman po natin tinatanggal yung coordination ng law enforcement at ng security sector po natin sa UP dito sa batas na to, I'm pretty sure dahil nasa batas po to, mas mauobliga all parties para gawin po to. Kesa it is on the exception lang po. Dahil simpleng agreement lang po siya, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Congressman Kit.
Mr. Chair?
Just one question, Kong Sara, before I call you. I would like to ask the president of the university, is there a plan to increase yung internal security ng UP by its own accord instead of having this, by depending on this accord or depending sa DILG or PNP or the AFP? Kasi sabi natin kanina, meron lang tayong 23 na internal security force. Meron ba tayong plano na dagdagan ito para ang UP ang mga laga sa peace and order situation ng ating pamantasan sa Diliman in particular?
Salamat po, Congressman Go. Yung pong 23, ito po yung may items na natitira sa aming plantilla na UP Police. Pero hindi lang po 23 ang units o elements ng aming security force sa Diliman o saan mang campuses sa buong Pilipinas. Marami po kaming white uniform security guards. At meron pa po kaming mga volunteers na kung tawagin namin ay SSB. Ano po, ito yung volunteer security force ng UP. Napag-usapan po namin ni Chairman Popoy yung pong problema kasi po talagang hindi namin gusto ang nangyari na naburglarize yung kanyang bahay ng 3 beses. At nahuli naman po namin, sa aking pagkakaalam, yung washing machine na unang nakuha sa kanya noon ay naibalik naman. At ito namang ninakaw na huli na tangke ng gas ay naibalik din. At nakita po ng ating security forces sa UP kung sino ba ang gumawa. Ngayon, dahil po yung area na yon ay madilim, hindi po masyado marami ang ilaw. Kaya po doon dumadaan o doon nagpupunta yung mga masasamang loob po na nakakapasok po sa UP. Alam po ninyo kasi ang campus po ng UP Diliman ay porous. Marami po itong mga parte na hindi po nakasara at maski po sino ay nakakapasok. At ang amin naman pong budget ay hindi sapat upang lagyan namin ng security guard ang bawat lugar na saan pwedeng dumaan ang masasamang loob. May mga ginawa na po kami. I have coordinated with the Chancellor of UP Diliman, Fidel Nimenso, to find ways and means in order to prevent the burglary from happening again. So meron na po kaming ginawang patrolya. Magpapatrol po doon sa madidilim na lugar at kasama rito ang area kung saan po nakatira ang ating butihing chairman ng CHED at yung pong iba pang mga parte ng UP Diliman. Yun nga lang po, parang naging paborito po yata na nakawan yung bahay ni Chairman, ni Chairman Popoy. At tinignan ko po yung logbook.
Check nyo si Spocky, sir.
Ng pulis ay parang hindi naman po ganun kadami yung insidente doon sa campus ng Nakawan. Pero hindi rin po maganda na nagkakaroon ng ganitong insidente, so i-address po namin. So in summary, hindi po 23 lang ang aming security force. In fact, pati nga po bumbero ay bibigyan na rin namin ng lugar doon po sa CP Garcia, malapit po sa Chen, para sila maglagay ng stasyon. Ganoon, pati po ang proteksyon sa sunog ay malapit na rin sa UP. At yung pong aming mga security guards ay dadagdagan po namin. Yung po kasing UP Police as an item sa aming plantilla ay isa sa mga iniraise na issue ng DILG. Ang sinasabi ng DILG, bakit kayo may separate police na hindi ka parte ng Philippine National Police? Hindi naman po talaga sila kasama, hindi naman po sila talaga kasama sa Philippine National Police. Kaya lang yung po kasing item nila doon sa plantilla ng UP na ito ay nung pang bago mag-martial law, UP Police po kasi ang nakalagay sa item. Kaya hindi naman po namin mababago yung item kung hindi po natin babaguhin hindi babaguhin ng TBM yung pong pangalan ng item. Sa ngayon po, 23 na lang yung natitira sa UP. Dati po, mga 5 po yan. Pero ngayon po ay 23 na lang sa aking pagkakaalam.
Maraming po salamat, President Danicon. Siguro sa susunod na meeting natin sa Board of Regents, kung pwedeng mag-present yung yung inyong opisina para ipaalam sa members ng board kung ano ang strength natin. Kung ito'y ma-approve bilang batas, kailangan tayo mismo ang mga laga sa kapakanan at katahimikan sa loob ng universidad.
Check nyo si Spocky, sir. Popoy. Malamang mga assets lang ni Spocky yan, kaya 3 beses.
3 beses din ba si Spocky?
Malamang si Spocky yan, sir.
Okay. Okay, so any other manifestation? Yes, Congresswoman Sara, I think you're now.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Salamat po. Lalo po ako naging resolbado na dapat pagtibayin ang UP-DND Accord dahil kung si Sir Popoy na chairperson, chair ng UP Board of Regents at isang public official ay natatakot, paano pa kaya yung isang ordinaryong estudyante? No? Naway, ilagay niyo po ang inyong mga sarili sa posisyon ng mga tina-target ng having kung ano ang nararamdaman nila. Kung nanakawan po ng bike, si Chair Popoy, sila po ninanakawan rin ng privacy at yung kanila pong mga larawan talagang pinapakalat at lubos na sinisiraan. In fact, Rep. Mark, we have representatives here from the faculty members from Content UP. Sana po mabigyan sila kahit po 1 minuto na makapagsalita. Gayon din po, meron po ditong representative from UP Baguio, UST, na sila po ang may direkta na kaso mismo sa harap ng korte tungkol dun sa paggamit ng kanilang mga muka, ng mga larawan, ng kanilang mga gathering, mobilization para po siraan at tigilin yung karapatan ng mga estudyante na magpahayag ng kanilang mga posisyon sa mga issue at magprotesta ng mga mapang-abusong measures. Mr. Chair, yes, we must strengthen UP's internal security procedures and operations, but that's beside the discussion on the UP-DND Accord. Law and order issues must not be used as a justification to abrogate the UP-DND Accord and not let the strengthening of its provisions via the amendment of the UP Charter. Ngayon po higit kailanman, kinakailangan natin na ito ay maipasa. Kaya, Ginoong Chair, hindi ko na po itutuloy yung aking mga interpellation, pero ang aking mga katanungan. Pero nais ko pong madinig na lamang. Ang aking pong mga katanungan ay directed sa faculty representative at gayon din sa UP Baguio at kung kakayanin pa po mula po sa UP Los Baños University Student Council. Pakinggan po natin sila at nagbigay din ng oras at naghintay po para mapakinggan yung kanilang boses sa deliberasyon na ito.
Congresswoman Sara, I think we will ask the representative of the faculty, Regent Dupo. She is the one representing the faculty of the entire university. Probably we can ask her to make a manifestation this afternoon. Nandiyan ba si Regent Dupo?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please, you are now recognized. Thank you.
Magandang umaga po. Ay, tanghali na po pala. Magandang tanghali sa ating po lahat. Tulad po ng nabanggit ng ating student regent at ating mga student leaders, kasama po ang mga faculty sa pagsuporta ng pag-amyenda po nito at maayos po na ma-retain ang ating safeguards. While sinabi po ng ating chairman na ito po ay question din ng security of property, bilang isang laking UP po, ito po ay safeguarding of the security of our thoughts, our actions, and our minds. Kung saan naniniwala tayo na UP will always stay as a safe place for academic freedom, our human rights, and even a safe space for free thought and expression. Dahil po, itinuturo natin sa ating mga estudyante that we are allowed to think out of the box. We encourage this. And my mentors taught me this. My co-faculty are also teaching me this, that I do not have to agree with them every time, because that's the very essence of our freedoms na pinoprotektahan po ng mga House bills na ito. Hindi po kasi lahat tayo ay nagiging nare-recruit sa ganito. Tulad po ng nasabi ng iba nating kasamahan dito ngayong hapon, ngayong umaga. Kasi po, ako po ay laking UP at naninilbihan din po ako sa UP dahil po tinrain ako na isang malayang pag-iisip, tsaka ako po ay isang scientist ngayon. Ako po ay nagsisilbi sa CHED bilang Technical Panel for Agricultural Education. Nagsisilbi din po tayo sa DOST at hindi naman po tayo na-recruit sa UP. Bagamat majority of the time tayo po ay nag-aaral at hinihinang ang pag-iisip creatively and academically. And I think I speak or I also agree with Representative Belmonte na hindi po lahat ng estudyante ay doon napupunta. Marami po sa atin serve the country as professionals, as scientists, as extensionists, as researchers, as teachers, as faculty, as mentors. And this is the very thing that we would like to tell you this morning. Please help us safeguard our thoughts. Salamat po.
Thank you. Kaya po kayo nandito, ating Rehente Dupo, dahil po tayo ay naniniwala na kailangan merong malayang pamamahayag ng ating mga opinyon, mga kaisipan. At ito po yung isang paraan para makrystallize natin kung ano ang maganda para sa ating bayan. Kaya ako yung nagpapasalamat sa iyong presensya nitong ating hearing tungkol dito sa 3 bills na naglalayon na institutionalize itong UP-DND Accord. So maraming salamat, Regent Dupo.
Thank you po.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
Sino yung gustong magsalita ulit?
Arlene, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Congresswoman Arlene.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I would like to say something lang doon sa pagiging residente ng UP. Tayo po ay residente ng particular ng Pook Palaris. Kaya alam po natin yung kondisyon ng sinasabi na Pook Recarte, Pook Daguhoy, Pook Palaris. In fact, nakakalungkot po dyan kasi ang pinaka-issue naman talaga ng mga tao na nakatira dyan ay yung kawalan ng trabaho, kawalan ng pagkain, Minsan po, naiintindihan po natin yan eh. Alam natin yung sinasabi ni Professor Popoy na nilooban yung kanyang bahay. Pero sa totoo po, kapag pinuntahan niyo po ang lugar ng Pook Daguhoy, napakarami po dyan ng problema pagkain eh. In fact, yung community pantry nga po dyan, in seconds lang, wala na, ubis na agad dahil ganun katindi yung hirap ng buhay. Kamakailan po, nabalitaan nga namin ni Professor Abaya, nung nakaraan, merong hinuli sa loob ng Pook Daguhoy dahil daw sa pagnanakaw. 6 po yung anak nun nung tinanong namin eh. 6 yung anak. Yung isa, nagpunta sa Sabah, nagkaroon ng trafficking, nagka-problema. No? Ngayon, sexually trafficked yung bata. Tapos, hindi po, problema pa po nila, hindi nakapag-aral yung mga bata, hindi nakakapagbasa, at napakalaking porsyento po niyan sa Pook Daguhoy at Pook Recarte at Palaris na yung mga hindi makapagtuloy-tuloy ng pag-aaral, no? Hanggang ngayon. Ano po yung gusto kong sabihin? Gusto ko pong sabihin na beyond doon sa usapin din, no, ng kalagayan ng mga pinupursu natin, with regards to this bill, gusto nating sabihin na poverty po yung kalakhan din ng problema eh. Kailangan po nating i-address yon sa national government. No? Hindi po pwede na ang national government natin wala silang ginagawa sa ganitong mga conditions. Bakit nga ba merong mga pagnanakaw na nangyayari? Bakit ba ganito yung kalagayan? Sino po ba yung mga gumagawa niyan sa loob ng komunidad? Paano ba natin tutulungan yung mga nakatira sa komunidad para matulungan din natin yung ating mga sarili, lalong-lalo na kung tayo po ay mga officials or even public officials, para ma-address talaga yung deep-seated na problema.
Congressman Arlene, I think yung binabanggit mong issue hindi natin tatalakayin ngayon dito. I think we will have a separate discussion.
Gusto ko lang sabihin, Mr. Chair, na from my point of view na nanggaling po at nakatira sa UP community, alam ko po yung hirap ng mga mamamayan natin doon sa mga tinatawag na lugar. Ngayon, kung sasabihin natin na matter of law and order lang yan, hindi po. Deep-seated po ang problema. Wala pong trabaho, kung ano-ano po ang pinapasok na ng mga mamamayan. Kaya
Arlene, if I may suggest, probably another discussion on your concern, and I really understand where you're coming from, and but we need to focus more on the issues at hand.
Mr. Chair.
So at this point, probably we will end. We have spent a lot of time discussing on these 3 bills. Sino pang hindi natawagan?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Short manifestation lang, no, Mr. Chair.
I'll give you 30 seconds, Congresswoman Franz Castro.
Okay, so Mr. Chair, so syempre nakikisimpatya tayo kay Chairman Popoy, no, sa nangyari. Pero labas po ito, Mr. Chair, doon sa doon sa pinag-uusapan natin. Alam naman natin yung bakit nagkaroon ng UP-DND Accord, yung tungkol sa protection academic freedom at saka yung syempre yung freedom of speech, etc. So doon po tayo mag-focus So maganda naman po mapagplanuhan na lang yung pandagdag ng mga pulis dito sa UP. Narinig naman natin, Mr. Chair, si Attorney Norman kanina, mas talagang pinopokusan niya, di ba, yung sinasabi niyang mga ni-recruit daw dito sa UP, etc. At more, hindi pa doon sa sinasabing security doon sa nakawan, etc. So doon po tayo, Mr. Chair. So ang purpose po natin ay para magkaroon talaga ng security ang mga bata, ang mga teachers, doon sa academic freedom, at saka doon sa kanilang freedom of speech and thought. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman Franz.
Mr.
Chair.
I think, yes, can we recognize our partner, Congresswoman Ging Swansing? Yes.
Mr. Chair, as you have mentioned, there are other 2 bills at hand. So can I make a motion, Mr. Chair?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Chair,
Partner.
I move that we create a technical working group to
Mr.
consolidate.
Chair,
Please let her finish first, Kong Kit.
sorry, Mr. Chair.
Can we ask you, Kong partner Ging, to continue, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that we create a technical working group to consolidate House Bills number 8514, 8545, 8437. Authorize the chairman, my partner, Congressman Go, to appoint the chairman of the technical working group. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, with the indulgence of the Honorable Swansing, may I be allowed to impose
So there is a motion duly seconded.
Mr. Chair, may I be allowed to how do I say this? Just adjust a little the motion of the Honorable Swansing, Mr. Chair.
You want to amend the motion? Is that
Yes,
what?
Mr. Chair. Yes, Mr. Chair. It has come to my attention, Mr. Chair, that all three bills are 99% the same, Mr. Chair. They all seek to insert a section 11 A to G, Mr. Chair. The only slight difference is the wordings of who will be included sa section D, sa section G, Mr. Chair. And I am pretty sure this can be worked out internally, and I'm sure the Makayabayan bloc will be willing to remove their insertions, their additional provisions to give way to the earlier bill of Brother Eddie, for example, Mr. Chair, or my bill, Mr. Chair. So my point is, baka hindi na po necessaryong TWG po tayo. Baka pwede rin po, like the earlier motion, Mr. Chair, na we just approve this bill subject to style. Total din po, yung main objector po, the DND, said na rin po na wala na silang pakialam dito actually kasi wala na silang kinalaman sa accord. Likewise, yung points ni Professor ni Chairman De Vera will be addressed by Section F, and siya rin mismo ang nagsabi dahil siya yung nagme-mediate, hindi po siya pwedeng makisawsaw dun sa political implications ng bill na to, Mr. Chair. So if with the indulgence of the Honorable Sonsing, I would like to amend her motion to make it, instead of a TWG, that we approve na lang po natin subject to style, Mr. Chair.
Kongkit, there are
provisions.
Kongkit, I think the motion does not only refer to coming out with a substitute bill, but also to address some of the issues that were raised earlier. For example, there are provisions here including the DND and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. We need to amend this because they are not anymore responsible for the internal condition security of the University of the Philippines. It's the DILG and the PNP. So we need to incorporate this in the unnumbered substitute bill that we will come out from the technical working group as proposed earlier.
Mr. Chair, as one of the sponsors, Mr. Chair, parang we are gearing naman, kung yun yung sinasabi ni Congressman Kit Belmonte, we are gearing for that, no? Kung hindi naman kailangan na maraming discussion, we can approve it now. We think it is only appropriate, no, na i-approve natin, Mr. Chair. Kung subject to style naman yung gagawing mga provisions.
I think
Mr. Chair,
Congresswoman Arlene, Congressman Kit, tatlo kasi ang bills na ito. We need to come out with one bill. Kung isang bill lang, subject to amendment and style, we can do that. But these are three bills that we need to consolidate. And don't worry, we will act on this the soonest possible time, probably in our next meeting in the committee. Prior to that meeting, we will organize a meeting of the technical working group so that we can put up one substitute bill. Yun lang naman, isang linggo lang naman So wala naman.
Chair, we can probably ask right now yung proponent ng bill, sila Deputy Speaker Villanueva, ask right now kung pwede. Kasi it's easy lang naman na
Wala sila wala sila.
100% chair, napahalos pareho din lang.
Yes,
Wordings
yes,
lang po, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, of course, we defer
There
to
is
the
a
wisdom
motion.
of the
I
chair.
think I would like to hear Congresswoman Ging Swansing if you would like to amend your motion.
Mr. Chair, with the kind indulgence of my friend Congressman Belmonte and the lady legislators, they are all my friends. Mr. Chair, if I would like to request, kahit isa lang, we can even schedule the TWG tomorrow, Mr. Chair, and may I suggest Congressman Kit Belmonte as the chairman of the TWG para mabilis, para lang malagay lang, Mr. Chair, sa tamang proseso.
Mr. Chair, of course, I defer to the wisdom of the chair, except for the last part na sinalang ako ni Congresswoman Swansea.
So, yes. So, can you reiterate your motion? I can chair the technical working group. Anyway, I heard all the comments of all the proponents, and to ensure objectivity in the coming out of the substitute bill, I think it would be good if we have somebody who is not a proponent of any of the three bills.
I agree, Mr. Chair.
Allowed by the other members of this committee. So can we hear Congresswoman, my partner, Ging Swansing?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to reiterate my motion. I move that we create a technical working group to consolidate House Bills number 8514, 8545, 8437, and authorize the chairman to appoint the chairman of the TWG. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so there is a motion duly seconded that we will create a technical working group to come out with a substitute bill in substitution to House Bills 8437, 8514, and 8545. Hearing no objection, motion is carried. Don't worry to all the proponents of these three bills. We will act on this the soonest possible time so that we can have this presented for discussion probably in the plenary before we adjourn Sine Die this coming June. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, is it tomorrow?
We will find if we have a Zoom schedule tomorrow. I think we'll check on that, Kong Arlene. Huwag kang mag-alala. Tatawagan
Thank
kita.
you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, kung ako kayo, wag nyo na isama si Arlene. Tatagal pa tayo. Sorry.
Ikaw ang kasama dyan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sino yun? Si Kong Sara?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Nagpadala din ng sponsorship speech si Representative Euphemia Kulyamat. So may I move that her sponsorship na speech to be part of today's deliberation on the bills amending the UP-DND, amending the UP Charter.
So yes, can I hear a second to the motion?
Second, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
that the submitted manifestation or position paper of one of the authors of the bill be incorporated in the minutes of our meeting today. Hearing no objection, motion carried. Okay, now let's go to the second last item in our agenda.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
May apologies po. Before we proceed with the last item on the agenda, nais ko lang pong maiparating ang aming pagkadismaya at condemnation dun sa naging statements po ng ni Attorney Daanoy tungkol sa paglilink ng UP at PUP. Narinig po natin yung mga fears ngayon ng mga estudyante, pati ng mga faculty members tungkol dun sa mga pandiretag sa kanila. hindi po nakakatulong para magbigay ng assurance no, para po sa safety, security, hindi lang ng estudyante, teachers, at ng mga members ng UP community na nakakaranas nito ang ganyan no, ng mga pahayag. No, kaya po hinihikayat ko din po, hindi na po dito sa Committee on Higher Technical Education, pero marami pa po tayong mga resolution at mga panukala na nag-a-address no, sa usapin po na ito sa iba pang komite dito sa House of Representatives. Kaya muli, maraming salamat po, Ginoong Chair, sa pagkakataon na maipahayag ang ating pagtindig para sa UP-DND Accord at para sa academic freedom. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. Noted po yung manifestation po ninyo, Congresswoman Sara.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just like I did ask the representative from the Department of National Defense when I was propounding questions, kung pwede niya po tayong provide ng data, hindi lang po ng mga supposedly nahuli o namatay na galing UP. Kung hindi dito sa mga other places, other locations or other academic institutions or other institutions, saan nanggagaling yung supposedly mga nagiging radicalized NPAs or communists or baka po kasi material din po to for other matters that we will tackle later on, Mr. Chair. Through the chairman, kung papayag po si Chair. Your Honor.
We will ask the DND.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. As a matter of fact, I have already a classified list here of those students killed and captured with their names and at the same time the name of the schools and universities. Hindi ho ito nandito. But this is still classified, considered a secret. But I will have to inform the Secretary of National Defense on this. So far, for the University of the Philippines, killed students 19, captured 9, total of 28. For the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, killed were 11, captured 9, surrendered 1, missing 4. This is as of January 21, 2021. Meron kami
Ilan po
so hindi ito meron kami puro mga estudyante ito. Kaya ang tanong dito ni Secretary Lorenzana, ano ba ang nagawa natin dito sa mga namamatay? Kasi sa isang estudyante lang namamatay, concern si Secretary. Alam mo si Secretary Lorenzana is a product of a state university. Alam niya sa isang estudyante ng UP or PUP na namatay, is concerned. Hindi lang to isa o dalawa or sabi natin kaunti lang. Sa isang estudyante, malaking bagay na as far as the Department of National Defense is concerned. So yun lang ang punto namin dito, Mr. Chair. Ano bang nagawa? Anong nagawa ng mga administrators natin tungkol sa bagay nito? Maraming namatay. Ano bang nagawa natin? Yun lang yung tinatanong niya. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Attorney Daanoy. I think you have to ask your principal whether this list can be distributed. As you stated, this is a classified information.
Yes, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
Sir Mark.
Okay, so I think we will end discussion.
Mark?
Yes, okay, Kong Sara.
Opo, salamat po. At iyakin lang po na yung listahan na yan kasi po ngayon pa lang marami ng mga lumalabas na listahan sa social media na yun nga po nagli-link sa mga estudyante, hindi lang po ng UP pero pati ng ibang educational institutions. Dapat na pong itigil yung paggamit ng social media to vilify dissent of progressive groups and activists. At yung ganyan nga po ng mga matters dapat hindi nilalagay dun sa court ng via a trial by publicity, kundi po kung meron talaga, kung totoo talaga na may mga ebidensya ay dapat po yan ihapag sa korte. Hindi po katulad nung naranasan ng UP na nag-publish po ang AFP-CRS ng listahan ng mga UP alumni na di umano na parte daw po o link sa CPP-NPA pero napamalian naman at at pawang mga kasinungalingan. Kaya kailangan po natin na mag-proceed with caution pagdating dyan at tiyakin at bigyan tayo ng assurance na tama na ang red tagging, tama na ang verification sa social media. Maraming salamat.
Salamat po. Maganda po yung sinabi ni Kong Sara tungkol po dito. Mahirap po yung padalus-dalus tayo, naglalabas ng listahan mahirap po yan. So kailangan siguraduhin na tama po yan. At the same time, kayo ay may permiso sa pinakamatas na opisyal ng Department of National Defense